Hey guys, girls, we got 4 minutes before the show starts. Behind the scenes, they got some Marley playing on the radio station, kind of cool. I was thinking next time I might do like a Zoom thing. If you want to, you can comment on it, and I could maybe get a speaker in here, and we could go like live or something. And because you're an expert on the Monkey Mind portion of this. Monkey Mind. Hi, Jen. Welcome. About to go live on the radio in like 3 minutes. It's 102.3 FM. If anybody wants to do that too. Right now they got some music playing. We're about to go over. Welcome. Maybe I should kill that. Ooh. Chandler, Uncle. Hey, man. Next time I'm thinking about doing Zoom, I was just saying. So we could all get on here and I'll maybe bring a speaker. I don't know if I can do that, but it'd be kind of funny. So I have like a live... Since you're I'm not allowed to have guests in here anymore. So, it'd be kind of cool. Could play with that. I may have to play with that in the house. I don't think I can. I already got my computer here going, and then I got my iPhone for this part. And I just got to remember to turn on the radio show. Or I'll like, hey, what happened to the show today? Welcome. You are about to be in store for the Monkey Mind with Rob. You are listening to WHIV FM 102.3. We are in the beautiful city of New Orleans. We are community radio and we honor independent voices. And the background we are listening to, this is called Monkey Mind. And this is with myself, typically singing, but this is all Red Priest playing on guitar. Jen, is it too loud, the background song? But this is Monkey Mind. So this show is dedicated to brain cancer. I am a member. And it's also dedicated to, of course, the Monkey Mind, which is a Buddhist term for the thinker. That rascally... primate that's always chattering in your head, always wanting you to do something, doesn't care what it is, can be harmful, just as long as it gets some attention and is doing something. Ooh, I got turned on to something really cool. I'd studied it before in school, but it's been a while. The Tao, and that's pretty hip, because it was like some of the stuff that I was interested in with Buddhism about trying to do nothing. Like that's such a beautiful kind of practice, but really hard to do. And that's where the Monkey Mind kind of comes from. The Monkey Mind is like I said, I think a Buddhist term, and I got turned on to it because there was this monk on like YouTube. He did a video and he was talking about how difficult a time he had meditating because of his monkey in his head, always chattering, wanting to do something. So what he would do is try and not really trick his monkey, because that would be mean, but he would ask his monkey, am I breathing? And the monkey would take a second and would listen to the breath and he'd be quiet. And that was his meditation. And then with this show, I had the epiphany that really is meditation right there. Like you don't have to say, well, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes. It's like, nah, it goes back to the, your momentary, you live in the moment. You're not living in the future like we were planning out 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 minute. It's each little moment that you're experiencing is your life. It's always been that way. It always will be that way. On that, I got pretty served. A friend of mine sent me a YouTube video of this comedian, and it was like, I don't know, because I'm always talking kind of all this kind of speak and stuff, and I can see how some people are like, it's a bunch of BS or something. But it really helped me out, because I thought, like with my brain cancer thing, I had a lot of negative speak before I got diagnosed with it, and I just thought I just lowered my immune system for being so just negative, and such a I had that the monkey in my head was just always just cutting in on me and just constantly telling me how dumb I was, or that I was quitting, I'd quit on myself, and just all this stuff. And I was married at the time, so it was like complicated. I had a mortgage, job, and I think I really kind of thought I had sold out, and my monkey just laid down on me. And I mean, I was like, I was trying to get on antidepressants before I got diagnosed with the brain cancer thing, and it was sad. But I mean, everything, it's like we got to really remind ourselves just constantly to appreciate things and be grateful. Everything is just so much of just a learning, a thing of learning. And I was moaning I think it was even just yesterday. So I always get to preface that I'm not the Buddha over here. I haven't superseded where I'm not falling into the same kind of monkey tricks. Monkey's crafty, and I think it's just natural. Like that was one of the other analogies I had with the whole cancer thing and the monkey mind, is that they're both kind of synonymous. They're both kind of parasites on us, and but yeah, I had a few things. I mean, this whole COVID thing with our isolation and yeah, it kind of brings up a lot of stuff, and even the subtleties of it. But I guess that's just life, just the experience. But yeah, I was kind of bumming. And usually it always comes from me projecting into the future. I don't really get too bummed out on the past anymore, like regrets or something. And someone posted this, and I was trying to answer it. It was like an Anne Frank quote. And sometimes I think I need to check my my monkey at the door. I don't know. Sometimes it's like that ego thing kind of creeps up on you. And I probably pretty much had that going. But anyway, Anne Frank was saying something like, it was one of her quotes, that regret is more powerful than gratitude. And I was like, well, maybe it was slightly snarky, but I was just like, well, that's what your ego is going to say, or, transverse your monkey mind is going to say. Gratitude, I think, is more of a natural state. Like, I had one of my teachers, like a lot of this stuff that I butcher and paraphrase is kind of just studies that I got from Eckhart Tolle, just being in the moment. And that just really helped me, I don't know, just kind of, not get so down and not listen to this just constant dissing of myself by this monkey, this mean monkey. Well, I love my monkey too, don't get me wrong, I love my monkey. But yeah, monkey can be, and I'm talking into, for the Facebook people, I'm talking into my monkey sock, if you can see that. We're trying to do the, not spread as many cooties, cootie 19 here. And I think I got Cootie 19 after Mardi Gras. And I went and saw my doctor for my more recent MRI. He kind of is more my my quote brain surgeon, and so he didn't see much changes from my last MRI. He thought it was pretty consistent, which is kind of a good thing too. Like reduction is cool, but you know, of course, you don't want to see something growing in your brain. Anyway, where's I going with that? I was like something about like I don't remember, talking into this sock. Nah, I didn't have anything to do with that. But yeah, we're trying. Oh, I thought I had the COVID, so I was telling him, is like, I'd like to take that, you know, the antibody test. And so he signed me up for a test, and somehow in the mix, it just gave me that one where they put the thing up your nose, which was pretty funny. Really feels weird because it, I guess, tickles the upper nose hairs, kind of. So it's very odd. I almost wanted her to do it again, though. I can't say I liked it the first time, but it was one of those sensations. You're like, okay, I might try anything once, so I'll give that one more try. So she just laughed at me and walked off. But yeah. So I wanted the moral of the story is I wanted the dang antibody test, and I didn't get that one. And then the nurse was kind of coy back because it's like that. What do you call it? A virtual. Not a virtual meeting, but it's like you text each other in their portal, like My Oshner or whatever. And so it's so then she was back, well, that's not really going to do anything for your condition. And I was like, well, what? I never thought it would. You know? I mean, that's not going to affect my brain thing. But I don't know, I just thought it was kind of snarky on her part. If you're listening, Nurse Ratchet. I don't know what that's from, but I think there's a bad nurse. But nurses are pretty sweet. Or they can be sweet. And they, like anything else, they can be pretty... Oof. I had some nurses I adored, but I had some too that, man, I just... After the thing, they're just... Not nice. Not nice. And that's like one of these things where so much of the like job things, they make things so they try to make things convoluted and complicated, like lawyers, so they take kind of your power away from it, and we lose so much stuff. Like the medical profession has lost, I think, just so much holistic kind of things, like things that were passed down from, you know, generation to generation, like dietary things. I mean, if you look at what our culture has started feeding us, it's pretty wrong. Like, I was just talking to my friend the other day, and I was saying, like, that anybody can still put high fructose corn syrup in a product. I mean, that should just be... And I'm not into, like, outlawing or making a lot of laws for stuff. Like, I wouldn't make, like... He was then saying, well, yeah, we should do that, and then ban that, and then ban cigarettes. And I was like, well, I see what you're saying, but no. I'm not into that. I'd say... Smoke them, pass a peace pipe. I used to smoke, I don't smoke anymore, but I just didn't have the lungs for it. But it was so cool. No, I'm just kidding. I was like a chain smoker, but I couldn't do it. What were we talking about before that? We were talking about... Yeah, I was still having an occasional dream, but it's been a while where I'm smoking in the dream. But I don't really miss it. And I don't really mind being around smokers. Though it took me a while. It took me a while to be able to drink alcohol, and that was I think that was a real crutch. That was a hard part. But yeah, I definitely loved smoking while I did. And it was so fun too because I lived briefly with my grandparents, and they were both big time smokers. But nobody smoked in the house. You'd walk outside, and it would be like our you know, just to hang out, talk about our day, just thoughts. It was just so much fun. To have that kind of ritual. Yeah, too bad it's so bad for you. Too bad. But, yeah, what else I got here? Oh, yeah, so that the comedian I was telling you about. Oh, did I tell you about the comedian? Anyway, so friends sold me a Facebook thing. You know how like comedians and stuff ripping on stuff? And it was something about a person kind of like me that talks about like a lot of this... I don't even know what you call this stuff. What is it? Metaphysics? I don't know. Enlightenment junk. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, this is comedian, this long-haired guy. He was like really cutting into it, and he was like, he was wearing like this weird, like super tight kitty t-shirt. You know, he's like really trying to play it up. Looked very hippie. He had some like headband on, and then these like spandex that looked very kind of tight, kind of more of a female yoga pant. And then he was talking about, you know, it was about being a quote enlightenment person. And I was like, I noticed a few of the things that I say that he said as a joke, and I was like, ouch. My monkey didn't like that. I was like, oh, okay. Because it just made me sound kind of stupid or kind of dorky, I don't know. But hey, I can't help it. I can't help it. But it was funny. And then he had a second skit that he did on the show that struck home too, because I used to be married, and it was called Man Scripts. And it was basically like, you know, pre-written scripts for being in a marriage, or I guess just a relationship if it goes that route. But that's kind of tough. I'd say more of a marriage for sure. But anyway, it's like your wife tells you something, and then you have your your script about what you're supposed to say. And man, it's dealing with some people. And I don't mean to be like sexist on that, because women are not all like that. And like some guys are kind of like, I have the same characteristics where it is almost seems kind of crazy. Like you're dealing with almost what seems like a crazy person. And who's to say you're not crazy, I guess, but you gotta work with what you got. And I'd say always bet on your crazy. You know? Don't just stick with your crazy. Love your crazy. Yeah, and it also goes to not judging your monkey mind too much. That was another thing that I would get into, is that, and I'll still do that too. It's like, well, I have like this, more enlightened monkey that then gets mean at my other monkey, but they're both monkeys. So it's like, it doesn't alleviate the monkey business going on in your brain. But yeah, so then the man scripts, then I was like, oh man, because that struck hard, because that would be past stuff. That would be living in the past. Like I was remembering, I don't know, just some of the downer situations I got in, where I just found myself, I was so apologetic, like for myself, you know, because you just were so trying to keep the relationship going or something, and it just, you know, it's just brutal. Yeah, it was not cool, but I still laughed. Right? Like, oh yeah, it's funny, and it is funny as hell. But yeah, I guess most comedies like that. And I always notice like most comedians are pretty unhappy, you know, but or really have some serious drama or something in their, you know, pre-lives to bring them to that situation. And then I guess maybe they can transfer, like, I don't know, I can't really say, I think, like Chappelle's unhappy. Yeah, I guess I can't say that. I don't know. I mean, generalities are, you know, generalities. So I had to notice, like, the Robin Williams is a good example of it. He always kind of struck me as someone with a lot of pain, like right under the, as a big motivator for his comedy. And I noticed, I remember one time watching it, who I like too, Eddie Murphy. I love Charlie, but yeah, I like Eddie a lot too. But Eddie, I remember as a kid watching this one show he had, like a comedy special, and I was like, man, this is sad stuff, because he was talking a lot about growing up, and it was just a lot of hurt that he was kind of spinning. Monkey mind stuff is what it is. But yeah, I mean, our monkey minds are so much about, you know, I think even creativity. It's a lot of our passions in life, whereas our awareness, so like, there's kind of like a duality. I guess I didn't really talk about that. I'll say that briefly. But there's kind of like a duality in your mind. It's like the monkey is like the constant chatter. It tends to be right up front. The awareness, or the consciousness that can kind of listen to your thoughts, that's more of like a core And I mean, that's my spin on it, but it's more, and it's Eckhart, I think Eckhart's too, but like I said, I'm butchering I'm paraphrasing. But anyway, so it's kind of like it's like a background core voice that isn't so egocentric. It's very much more, it's not so hurt by stuff. It's not so offended it's just not. It's just more of a centered, kind of is, and then so that you can kind of listen to your thoughts, and that's kind of the key thing to it, is kind of silence your monkey. And my Reiki's pretty good at asking hers to just kind of behave, because it is kind of like a mischievous child. I mean, you can still love it, but it's just being, in other words, naughty. And that, because that's its nature. It wants attention. It wants to be right. Because anything that makes it bigger and kind of empowers it, it adores that. That makes it kind of alive. It wants to feed, and it loves like fighting. It loves being a victim, because that means it's right and someone else has wronged it. And that can go pretty far. Like, I've noticed a lot of the relationships that I've had in my life that have been more troubled, it's also good practice too to kind of, like, it goes back to kind of forgiveness. But just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you can be around them. There are some people, because you get an ego is never going to be really happy. It's not. It's never going to find kind of peace. Now, you can work with it, but it's kind of like, I guess the analogy is like an alcohol, where you hit rock bottom, where you have a problem, you at least admit that. And it's almost just like, I think you kind of have to admit that you have an ego. Well, I mean, everybody, I guess, knows they have an ego, but in the duality, like, it's not so much you, it's this other thing that you've kind of been taught or identify with, and it's so much about winning, and like I was talking about that, the Tao thing seemed really cool. I was really kind of, it was like a YouTube video on it, and I can say I'm always like watching YouTube, and but I go through these specs where I really just want to kind of kill my TV and turn it up, but I'm so like addicted to like that. I don't know, turn it off, and I noticed like a few weeks ago, I was saying I was doing some shrooms in my house, and I just really started kind of like doing this question, like, why? What are you doing? Like, I really kind of wanted, because I used to kind of have that, and it's so fun when you have like a cause or a passion or something, and yeah, but I think it's like a balance. I mean, maybe you can have like little things, just like little to-dos, and but I think it's such a good thing to, and it doesn't sound right, but not take it so seriously. I mean, it's like, because it's really, I don't know, most of this stuff is really just so trivial and so, I mean, just BS. I mean, and it's just really, it's like all this stuff, and I think this is part of the problem with our mental health. It's just not healthy, and it's kind of tricked us into thinking that this is, like the game of telephone, one generation hearing it, passing it down. Like, another thing I'm big into is dietary stuff. Like, right now I'm eating pretty much like a carnivore. I do a few cheats on it, but not much. Like, today I'm excited because I just ended this month's chemo. So now I'm going to get a buzz on after this show. I got some tequila, and might have to do some grilling or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's like taking stuff so serious. Like, I kind of, what I was saying the other day is like, or yesterday, I guess, I was getting really monkey-minded and was feeling kind of bummed out. And I just stared at the phone and I just forgot what I was saying. But and it was so much about, it was like monetary stuff, like this whole COVID thing is crunching it's kind of screwed up my, I guess, money coming in. So I'm like, man. And it's like a house of cards, It's like, man, I got, bills to pay on this. And then it's like keeping it all organized. And you got, all your accounts going through your computer, all these ridiculous passwords you have to remember. And then calling customer service. And it's like, why am I getting charged this? And then you got to talk to somebody and it's like, it just, who you get the roulette of the phone service. I mean, now everybody's pretty much in their house wearing their bathrobe with their dog licking them and the kid running around in the background. And just hope they're in a good mood. But yeah, so it was like a snowball. It was like 3 things that I had to juggle. Oh, and then I was doing my taxes. So then I had to find my taxes. I mean, not my taxes, but my, information to get. I do like an accountant. I used to do it myself, like that TurboTax thing, but those days I think are maybe gone. I do pretty good cognitively, but I definitely, I don't have as much, I was going to say self-control on my whims, but I don't know how true that is. I don't know if I ever had that much control, to tell you the truth. But yeah, anything that I had, my damage on or damage or whatever you want to call it, my tissue loss, I like to keep my verbiage and my speak, and my Reiki helps me out on that too. Like another thing I don't do is say my cancer. It's the cancer, because you don't really want to take possession of it. It's kind of like the parasite. It's a natural parasite for our bodies to have, just like the monkey mind, but it doesn't have to stay there, and it doesn't have to be a dominant, the dominant, force in your body. And it's good to flush it out, the cancer, and the monkey mind every now and then with some good old meditation for just your second. Just ask yourself, am I breathing? And then just practice forgiving yourself too. Like, you got to do all this stuff. You don't have to be some, just love yourself, give yourself a big old hug. But yeah, forgot where I was going with that one. But then I was thinking, I was doing the other day too, I've been trying to do, learn this guitar. And I am so musically, like playing an instrument. I've had a ukulele, a harmonica. The harmonica I haven't played in forever, and I never really played it, but I like talking in it, like rah 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 rah, or something like that. I was like, yeah, I can make that work in a song, because I always wanted to do like songs. 'Cause I love stories and I love writing and stuff like that. Can't say I'm not like great at it, but I enjoy doing it, and I was always kind of into narrative art. Like, as a kid, I backdoored into it with like via movies or comic books, stuff like that. Anything like a story, and still kind of do that. After my brain cancer, I kind of had lost my business and was looking for something to do, and I started drawing this black Indian that I had like this weird washed out photo of, and I couldn't really make it out. So I kind of made up a little story about the Indian, and so I just started playing with that and kept drawing the figure. So I kind of got to make up what I thought his suit looked like, because like I said, it was a really bleached out photograph, and I always loved taking like something like your inspiration from something kind of real. I mean, I guess everything is like that. It's like no epiphany there, but yeah, okay, I took this from the unreal world. Not everything is a play off something else, right? And they always saying like art is basically like theft, theft of someone else. There was some great quote on that, and I always like that. They like look at art history and about how you study one artist taking off another and taking off another, and they making the next kind of transition. But where's that going with that? Oh, anyway, so I wrote and illustrated a kid's story, and that was pretty cool. So I was telling people at the time, and I guess at the time I was pretty punchy, so people were like, yeah, Rob, you're gonna write a kid's book and get it published, sure. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, so I kind of wrote out, the story, and did like sample art, and I kind of forgotten how to draw. It was really trippy because I hadn't been drawing. Well, I guess I was drawing some, but I guess I had taken a break, and I more or less was just writing the story. And it was cool. It was one of those stories where you can just like kind of sit back, and it just starts kind of, you know, the characters just start doing their own thing. Like you kind of make them up, and then they just start playing in their environment, like watching a movie. But it's all in your head. Your monkey, I guess, is maybe right, or maybe it's your awareness. I don't know. Maybe a combo. Maybe the best story would be going back and forth, because it is such a beautiful experience, kind of like the yin yang of things. Like you have and that's why getting such an appreciation for all the feelings that we go through, like even the down stuff. I mean, what is it, the adage, like, you wouldn't have your up without your down. What would you relate it to? Just be like, oh, yeah, I'm great. I was like, okay. But I mean, maybe that's, quote, enlightenment too, huh? Where you're just kind of at peace. Like I had written this other story where it was supposed to be like AI had taken over, but it was so in the future that the AI had already turned themselves off by then, and it was just like a primitive group of this primitive culture basically on a drowned world, kind of living and making do, kind of speaking to a real funky pigeon. And what was I talking about that for? Oh yeah, because the AI got so, like, in the story was like mythology. So by the time the people that were actually watching in the story are just like, they don't even know that it's just like a, Zeus saying something to Helena or something like that, and or Thor or Odin and all that. So it was like it was like a total mythology. But basically the AI got so kind of at peace, or not at peace, but so knowledgeable that they just found there was like no point, and they just turned themselves off, and they all just stopped at the same time, and then they just, I guess drowned into the ocean, and then this culture was just and the culture was kind of cool because I made them so that they didn't want to change anything. Like they were just like, they just thought that was like a real fallacy, like to try and modernize something or to change it. It was all about maybe really being appreciative of what you have. So their culture was just based around that. So it was very, what we would call primitive, just working kind of in the environment. I mean, they had egos and stuff, and I had them too, where they were trying to really practice more that kind of being at peace with themselves. But it was all kind of like a wink-wink kind of thing. Like some of them weren't really that great at it, but they all, like, that was what they were supposed to do. Like that was the cultural, quote, religious norm, was to be kind of more enlightened. And but the irony was that there was a big chunk of them that weren't, and they were kind of definitely had their egos. They wanted to win. They had a hierarchy that was just under the surface that had supposedly been done away with, but then kind of really wasn't, and they just kind of looked the other way a little bit. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. That goes back to another thing, and just putting like art therapy into your life in some form, just some kind of creativity. It can be, near anything. Just so nice to, to have that practice, and then it can be such a meditation too when you don't really think about the ends of the product you're trying to make, and that goes to everything. Just really think about your actions, like your moment, being in your moment. You can find so much peace of mind just really noticing the sensations right now around you, like how your fingertips feel when you rub them, or your skin feels in the temperature, and just really kind of getting into the now of what's happening now. Now I'm sounding like that comedian. Okay, making fun of me. I should get a kitty cat t-shirt. But no, seriously, yeah. I think it's just so crucial, because what I was doing then after the other day, because I was really starting to kind of, my monkey was getting bummed out, and I noticed too, I do this thing where I will say, man, I am sad, or it's like, when I notice it, I was like, God, that's kind of self-prophesizing there. You're telling yourself this kind of negative stuff. Why not just tell yourself you're so damn happy? And then I started saying, that kind of basically, I think I can say screw it. Yeah, I was kind of saying, whatever. And then I was trying to get more of that kind of swagger with it. I definitely like living more like that in my state of mind. Having like, I don't really, and I like caring about stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's like, transitions and change is so much a part of this experience that I think it'd be interesting to go over to some other cultures and really get immersed in it and see if they have some other practices. Should maybe research that. I would kind of like to travel some. I've been kind of sedentary for a while. I guess I've always been kind of sedentary, actually. Only with brief moments of caravan living. But yeah, that would be kind of fun. But what else I got here? Yeah, so the antibody test, so I just tested her back. And it may have been my monkey actually texted her back. He's like, I got this. So I texted back that nurse, I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of know it's not going to help my brain cancer, but I thought I had COVID-19, and I've heard that if I did, my antibodies could actually even help people. And so, nurse, I had spoken to my doctor, not that I'm getting big on terms like that. Nurses are a lot of times every bit as gangsta as the doctors, and knowledgeable for sure. But anyway, so I was just like, hey, come on. It's like that's what we talked about. I never would have taken I knew I didn't have COVID-19 at the time. I had no symptoms whatsoever. So it's like, I don't know. Something was amiss there. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get one of those. Because then I heard, too, that I heard some guy online was saying they actually pay you for your antibodies. So I was like, all right, I can do that. Like giving plasma or something. All right. But, I don't know. That was kind of weird. But yeah, what do I have here? Falling apart. That was my confessional I wrote down on my notepad about my monkey mind coming to me. And who am I kidding, man? My monkey's driving the show half the time, if not more. And I was noticing too you remember me mentioning that Hypothesis Theory, the guy on YouTube? And man, I really like this guy's show, but he talks a little bit too much about cameras, which I also really like, but I really am not that into the technology so much anymore. I just like having it and doing stuff with it, you know what I'm saying? And I might kind of say I might be pretty happy with I might be over that and just be happy with my iPhone now. It's got a pretty good it's like that iPhone 11, it's not the Pro one, but it's got a pretty good camera, and I just got like these filter things. So it had a lot of the old film that I used to take with, like some old like T-Max stuff and some cool black and whites that I used to, and even some colors that I used to like. I don't know if you ever did much with photography, but there was this thing way back when we had film. I guess we still do, but it's kind of more of a rarity. Where you used to take photographs on slide film, and it was called cross processing, and it really tripped stuff out. And I always liked it, and it would put. So then you would have it develop like it was normal print film, and the chemicals, I guess, or something in the process of it would just make it bizarre. Like you'd have really ultra like high contrast situations, and then just the color scheme would just be kind of go berserker. But it was really fun because it was like, I mean, typically when I used to do a lot of photography, it was always a little bit of a mystery what I was gonna get. I was never like 100% with the with that magic box and what was gonna get printed. And so that was always kind of fun, the mystery of it. But I don't know why I brought that up. But yeah, like I was saying also too with the art therapy, like find something kind of fun to do. Whatever listen to yourself, and it's like, yeah, I mean whatever you think, play with it. Like now I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna do I might do like a GoFundMe thing, because it takes a lot of work. Like when I did my kids book, like a page I think took me or maybe it was either 1 page or like a spread, like the 2-page kind of thing. It would take me a day to do it, like a dang near a whole day, like to sketch it, to then ink it and then color it. And with my story, it was called Spy Boys. So I can remember the title. I need to remember the title. It's Spy Boys Cheyenne and 96 Crayons. And so it was about this 8-year-old kid that loved crayon colors, and he had a box of 96 crayons. And so when he would go around and see stuff, he would call it by its copyrighted, technically, Crayola name. But I think I was like, the names of it weren't copyrighted, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, and they probably gonna sue me. I didn't make any money off this thing. Publishers, I gotta tell you, it's robbery. I would say self-publish. But I was stoked when they accepted my book, because I was like, my monkey was kind of driving. I was feeling, I'm gonna say, a little bit like a loser, and I'm not really into that kind of terminology stuff. People I know use that a lot, but I'm really not. I'm not anymore, I guess. But I guess at the time, I just lost my business, so I didn't really know what I could do. I was having a lot of still cognitive function. I couldn't really stay on point talking. Like I don't do that well right now, but I do a lot better. It was a little too rapid fire, where you could really notice it, and I noticed it, and it was. But what I practiced was I really practiced going easy on myself and not allowing. Like as soon as I heard my monkey start to be negative towards me, I was like, we ain't going there. We ain't. And I could pretty much ixnay that stuff. So that was the biggest help to me. Because like I said, for a while I was pitching to my docs that all thought it was BS, but they think a lot of stuff is BS that I don't agree with them. I don't. Your doctors do not know everything. And yes, I'm talking to both of you doctors. But I like my doctors, don't get me wrong. But dietary thing, they're really not big on the dietary. And I know I just lost what I was talking about. But I'll go back on the dietary stuff. Like I asked both of them, I was like, so what should I do like to be proactive with more, my brain health, avoiding this cancer resurgent, like what kind of things? Because I mean, what more important stuff could there possibly be than things that you're putting in your body? Like what could it be? I'd say maybe the mental thing, being negative to yourself, I think is a huge thing. And I think just noticing it and making notice when you're hearing those voices in your head that are being negative towards you, really step back and realize that's that monkey mind is talking, the thinker, and that's not accurate. That thing is so starving for attention and to be right, and it's always going to be that way. I can't help it. But you don't have to identify with it. Just like if you get an illness, I'm big on this with like quote colds. Like I didn't catch myself doing it for a while with the cancer, but I think the cancer is also an ego thing too, because it's like gives you like, oh, I'm a victim of brain cancer, so it gives me like a story, it gives me like a something, and I'm trying to market it. Don't get me wrong. I want to, you got to work with what you got. I think it got me basically this radio show. but yeah, and everything's is a blessing. I mean, it may sound very cliche, but it really is. It's a lesson, and we're all gonna die. That's so much a part of life. And I think when you're going through like the brain cancer thing, because back when I got it, they gave me basically 6 months to live. Nowadays, I think it's more like a year with a GBM. This is like it's a really high intensity, fast growing cancer. But they're making bounds and changes all the time, and so yeah. And I keep looking at other people on the sites and stuff like that and sharing their stuff. And yeah, it's just really inspirational. Other people's story, like, travels through this. But I think it's so important for us all, as they say, to enjoy the ride, Like, sometimes we're just getting so uptight about where we're going or doing. It's like, man, just like kind of sit back, and it's like the Tao. It's like, just enjoy, And that's like another thing. It was like, if there's something you don't like, you look to change it. Or if you can't change it, then you get away from it. If you can't get away from it, then you surrender to it. And a lot of people don't like the word surrender because it's, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to surrender to anything. Well, I don't mean like you have to totally give up. You can go start back at the beginning, but kind of make peace with your moment, It's like, that's where you're at. So, kind of denying what is pretty, that's just monkey. That's monkey stuff there. It is what it is, and man, you got to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? And you got to make peace with it. And I think that's what the ride is about. I'll have to give that some more thought. I was even trying to figure out kind of my theories. I don't believe in God, and my poor mom has to suffer through that. But I guess it's not that I don't believe in God. But okay, yeah, I figure out what do I think. But it's kind of like, it's everything. Everything, I could categorize that as God. But I mean, it's so much of everything, it's nothing. It wouldn't care if Rob believes that the great Almighty went down and had sex with a virgin and produced it wouldn't be, my everything would not, that wouldn't be a blip on his radar. He'd be like, whatever. And that, like, you have to, like, repent for sins. Like, I was making the analogy, it's kind of like, I think I heard this one thing where, and it probably was on YouTube, but it was somebody saying that what Jesus was actually meaning, and I actually don't think Jesus was an actual person too, but that's another story. But he was more of a kind of like an urban legend, like a Robin Hood or something like that. Though Robin Hood might have been somebody, but it might have been a composite of a few people. I'm gonna forget my story. Anyway, it was kind of like that. Oh yeah, you can do all the stuff that basically God can, like forgive yourself. You can actually do that. You like, and I just had a call in, but that was just my dad. Yikes. But yeah, so I've been having a lot of problems with my dad lately, and might have been a little bit of my, definitely was a lot of ego, because I guess I wouldn't really care. So it's been kind of, I don't know what, but it's like, it was like I was going back to, like, some people, it may just not be healthy to deal with and have them so prevalent in your life and stuff like that. It's calling again. But you never can remember my my radio show. But that doesn't help my train of thought either. But anyway, yeah, so that's been a real balance. And it's been kind of bumming me out, because I'm almost seeing like the relationship sort of become, I don't know, just not as genuine. Like, you can see people do certain things, and it's like a repetitive thing that you're allowing in your life, and you have to, kind of goes to, and him the same way. I mean, he has other expectations of stuff, so that's okay. But it's like, you have to teach people how you want to be treated, And I think you can do that in a strong and friendly way. That was something my marriage counselor that I grabbed. I liked that one. I think it was something like his mother came up with all this stuff, and then he carried on in her footsteps or something like that when she passed away. But that was one of his big things, was friendly, strong. And it's true, man. Like, a lot of people, it's like animals, where they get that, you start acting too passive, just people just start just rolling on you. And you can just be, kind of friendly, strong, kind of matter of fact about stuff. And you can do that too, like if you're, let's say, a situation that you want to change, or someone that you want to protect, you can be as violent, as, off the chart as you want, but you can also do that in a peaceful way. You don't have to be mad to stop somebody physically. You can just do the right thing. If the situation justifies it. Yeah, you can be all gangsta. But yeah, monkey. But yeah, it is such a trip just dealing with the whole experience. But yeah, like I said, we gotta really remind ourselves to just enjoy, you know. Like another cool thing I always liked was from Eckhart Tolle's. I think it's like our state of mind, and I've had some people get mad at me for saying this, as like our state of mind should be one of joy, ease, and lightness. If you're not in this state, then your ego, your thinker is just running your show. And yeah. And I think it's so much, sometimes too, you let your monkey then, scream and holler too. Like, I've definitely had some stuff with this experience that I was just talking about with my dad recently, where I was like, yeah, I know, I hear you, man. This is hurtful. I mean, I'm like almost like lying in bed saying, all right, because you have those times when you're in bed and the thinker's going off, you're laying there, oh man, you're doing all these scenarios. And it's like, all right, monkey, I understand. You're very upset here. So just, you do your thing. And that kind of helps a lot. Where you don't fight. And that was another thing that I was taught from my Reiki, is that we don't fight cancer. We basically ask it to leave our body. Fighting, like negatives, we get more negatives. That's what I'm saying, like even... quote, fighting has such a negative connotation to it, just with our culture. I want to say you could have a fight and it could be relatively positive. I guess it's just your expectations of hitting someone or having them hit you back. Yeah, I think it's how you create your reality. And I think we put all these things on ourselves, and yeah, it's a balance. But it goes back to really, it's it's like that comedian making fun of me, but going back to the moment, like right now, reminding yourself, so much is like a head trip, where you're either thinking of stuff, your regrets, like Anne Frank. Did I ever finish that story? I don't even know if I did. Anyway, she was saying like regrets were more stronger than gratitude. And I think gratitude is more of our consciousness. It's more of a natural state, like the joy, ease, and lightness thing, whereas the regret is all monkey mind. There is no regrets whatsoever. There are things you wouldn't do now, but you don't need to regret it. I mean, just don't do it. Like a lot of my girls would say, well, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, you don't have to be sorry. Just don't do it again. But it is nice to say you're sorry, of course, and to feel it, So yeah, what do we got else here on this thing? Oh yeah, so on the guitar thing, I've been really bad about practicing. Well, not bad, whatever. I haven't been practicing my guitar. I've been so wrapped up with just other stuff, It's like the opposite of the Tao. I got all these, home improvement stuff that I keep doing, and it's like I had to dig these beds in front of my house to make like this little garden. It's like, what the heck? Why am I doing this? So I had to bully through this like rocks, and it was basically like it almost forms into like that powdery kind of cement. So I had like an axe on it, a chisel, and it was just brutal. And I kind of bullied down into it. And but yeah, it's like all these little projects. Now I kind of want to get my property, so hopefully I can rent it and then like travel a little bit. So I also have like this tiny little travel trailer, and so I kind of like to do that. I want to get in some natural springs again. And if y'all haven't done that, maybe I shouldn't tell y'all, because y'all tell somebody. You keep it amongst yourselves, because I know I don't have any viewers. But you need to get your butt in a natural spring. You need to. It is like mind blowing. It's epiphany stuff. It's brilliant. Monkey mind. So yeah, definitely do that. And I got this killer surfboard that I just got. Not just got, but right before I thought I was, right before I found out I was maybe going broke. And but it's like a kind of an old school, but it's, you know, brand new, but it's really, really cool. Really, really cool. And I got it kind of hanging in my place. This is like wall art right now. But it'd be so fun to get in some water. Man, I miss swimming so much. I miss that. So, okay, crew, I might try and get on to some Monkey Mind, my song here, man, if I can get my jam on. Ooh, all these passwords. Passwords. Now my monkey is definitely fixated on my dad calling. Oh, and I'd even missed the FaceTime call. Woof. I have to do that. See how that goes. Stay at peace. Stay at peace. Now I just totally forgot what I was doing. Okay, that's over here. So now we're going to look up this thing. Oh, this is it right here. So this is actually the song, My Little Art Therapy, that I did. Is that even loud enough? Maybe it is. My monkey over here. You have to sing into this one. Hey, monkey, I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you when I feel you. You my monkey. So mean and cruel, but you're mine, all mine. My little monkey. See, anybody can sing, right? You too. Little boy, I had a life-size toy. It was a monkey. When I'd squeeze it, made a cute sound. Hey, monkey, I want you to love me. Monkey, I want to love you when I feel you. You my monkey. And Red just set me up with open E on my guitar, so I think I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. That'll be fun. Watch out. Oops. Thrower sits in a bar. Joke to the bartender. Chimpanzee. The joke, 2 penguins. It also is like an oral sex joke too. But I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you when I feel you. You're my monkey. You're so mean and cruel, but you're mine, all mine. My little monkey. Watch out, those goddamn monkeys bite. That is Dennis Hopper from Apocalypse Now, the quote. Ooh. I want you to bite me, monkey. I don't really care, you're not mine, all mine. You with me all the time. Hey, monkey. Ooh. Feel you, but we ain't one. Hey, monkey. Now, Red, I don't think you have to wear your... Red the bandit just arrived. Oh, shoot. That monkey mine. Can't help, I love that monkey, that monkey, that monkey, that monkey mine. I want you to love me. So I think I'm gonna get cocky here and say I got 2 more songs coming soon. So I'm gonna add those.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Set yourself.
No, I'm pretty. I got into the swagger yesterday. It really helped.
That was a good session.
Verbalizing it.
That's the best way.
You bite me, monkey. I don't really care. You're not mine, all mine. You with me all the time. Hey, monkey. And y'all stay tuned because live on the radio, the 102.3 FM, we got Red Priest coming with Listen to Us Live. And he is going to be sharing stories of epic proportion of New Orleans, I'm sure, and yeah, good stuff. Lots of love, everybody. Y'all be good.
Monkey man.
Monkey Man, Monkey Moon. Okay, bye everybody. Yo, yo.